You know what? I may have stumbled upon something quite exciting today. Recently, I have been profoundly intrigued by the faceted personas of city life, especially during sunset. You know, the so-called golden hour? This fascination propelled me to embark on an urban photography escapade around the Han River. As I was soaking in the stunning sunset views over Seoul's skyline, I realized how astounding the city looked during this magical period. The Han River was a tranquil escape in the midst of the hustling city, making the photo session an even more refreshing experience. It was almost as if Mother Nature was showcasing her profound beauty amidst chaos. Speaking of which, I had quite a chat with Midori and Kiyoshi about the amazing shots I captured. Oh, you should have seen the color gradation in the sky. Midori was utterly captivated, comparing it to a mesmeric artist's palette. You'd have found it as breathtaking, wouldn't you? And Kiyoshi, you remember him, right? He was so excited he almost jumped out of his seat. He just couldn't contain his amazement and admiration. Granted, Kiyoshi and Midori are kind, but their word felt so reassuring and validating. I shared a few snaps with them, and guess what they said? They want to join me in my future photography explorations. The one Kiyoshi notably liked had the city's skyline intricately overlaid by the river's calm charm. Just imagine walking with friends, shooting photos, discussing sunsets, the city, all in the golden hour. Sounds magical, doesn't it? So remember how I was telling you about my little urban photography foray? Well, today I swapped the camera for a cooking apron. You know how I've been trying to expand my cooking repertoire, right? So I joined this Japanese soba-making workshop. You wouldn't believe how intricate and delicate the art of noodle making is. It's not just about the ingredients, it's more of an expression of culture, so beautiful and thoughtful. Kiyoshi was really supportive when I shared about it in the group chat. You remember Kiyoshi, the friend from Tokyo, right? He enjoys cooking as much as I do. In fact, he's thinking of trying out a new recipe for roasted miso ramen. Sounds mouthwatering, right? It's all a part of our shared love for Asian cuisines. I believe this goes beyond just satisfying our taste buds. It's about connecting and resonating with diverse cultures, don't you think? Anyway, while we're on the topic of Japan, we got into discussing Midnight Diner. Remember that episode on Sukiyaki? I could almost taste the dish while watching it. Midori even joked about me becoming the personal chef for our group. That's a funny thought, isn't it? Though I am all for kitchen experiments, becoming a chef would surely be a stretch. Only if my future design studio could have a kitchen space. Can you imagine? Sketching concepts with one hand and kneading dough with the other? Speaking of which, this entire experience with soba has me thinking, design, just like cooking, is all about adding your own touch, your own flavor, you know? It's like chiseling a piece of art while keeping the functionality intact, similar to shaping a perfect noodle. Anyway, back to the chat. Kiyoshi also brought up the starlit cooking nights we used to have. Remember our first one? The heady mix of laughter, music, and the tantalizing aroma of our collective culinary prowess. Such warm memories. It reminds me that while careers and aspirations take us around the globe, the shared love for food always brings us back together. Well, I'll probably let these thoughts simmer for a bit, turning over ideas of design and food in my own mind. Perhaps a fresh viewpoint on my next project may emerge. Who knows? For now, I think it's time I clear the kitchen and prep for my evening run. Continuing from where we left off, my adventures in the kitchen, took a bit of a detour today. Instead of simmering sauces and kneading dough, I found myself holding a badminton racket in the park, of all things. Yes, you heard that right. I swapped my evening runs for an exhilarating badminton match with Min-Soo. No crowd, no scoreboards, no pressure, just the pure joy of an activity that's testing agility, reaction times, and stamina. Quite a new feeling it was, the shuttlecock cutting through the evening breeze, these short, intense bursts of energy. I must say it's both physically invigorating and mentally refreshing. And with Min-Soo's competitive spirit, it was a challenging game indeed. Guess what the guys had to say when I shared this little change in my routine? Kiyoshi instantly challenged me to some fishing. Can you believe it? Fishing, of all things. I still haven't decided on that. You know me and my complications with patience. And Midori, she got so excited that she wants in too, if we ever decide to go for it. Interesting company, don't you think? Imagine us sitting under the open sky, waiting for a catch, chatting about their Japanese cuisine and my Korean flavors, our food experiments, routes we run, places we've been, or just enjoying the quiet. Fishing or not, this day out sounds tempting already. And this new adventure brought us to something else, cooking our catch. Midori conjuring that idea made me chuckle. We even joked about making a cooking show out of it, culinary adventures with fresh catch or something just as catchy. I'm not entirely sold on the fishing part yet, but a day out with friends, that's something I look forward to. After our sushi roll-off challenge, it's clear we all have a thing for good food and adventure. So, weaving through this chat full of sushi, sashimi, badminton, and fishing, I also got a movie recommendation from Midori. It's called Stepping Out. Given her taste in films, I bet it's worth a watch. I've added it to my list. Who knows, it might provide some fresh perspectives or thinking avenues for my upcoming design projects. Let me see when I can squeeze in some movie time. Oh, and remember Kiyoshi was trying his hands at sashimi today? He promised to share pictures. Can't wait to see that. You know his culinary feats never fail to impress. Anyhow, it's time I clear the kitchen from my evening snack and prepare for another busy day at work. As much as I love these wonderful culinary adventures and sports trials, work does call. Remember, we're still in the middle of the new EV concept pitches. So, duty calls. A little bit of everyday reality amidst these unexpected adventures, don't you think? Speaking of which, how's your cooking coming along? Remember the pastry recipe you wanted to try? How's that coming along? Looking forward to hearing about your culinary adventures too. Anyway, enough of my rambling for today.